What's up, guys? Have this beautiful Felix Potvin Toronto Maple Leaf replica mask I recently received. I wanted to review. Now, this mask was originally made by legendary mask maker Greg Harrison. He's still active on Instagram at Greg Harrison the Mask. I'll link it in the description here if you want to go check it out. He was a complete mask maker. He made the mask shape, painted the masks himself. He didn't use airbrush. He was a traditionalist. He painted by hand. And he did so many different masks during the 80s and 90s. But this might be his most iconic. He did Mike Richter, Nikolai Habibulin. He did Grand Fuhrer, Don Beaupre. He did Curtis Joseph's earlier masks in St. Louis, at least one of them. He did Andy Mugge, Tim Cheveldae, John Casey, Tom Barrasso. Lots of Toronto goaltenders because he was local to here. The list goes on and on. He did Ed Belfour. Actually, he was the one that came up with the Eagles on the side for Ed Belfour. Ed Belfour actually wanted Hawks because he played for the Blackhawks. And Greg suggested an Eagle because it would look better. And it took off from there. He became known as Eddie the Eagle. And everywhere he went after that, even the different painters he used, when he moved away from the Harrison shell, they all used and incorporated that Eagle design in their mask. He's now retired. You know, I'm a huge proponent of going to the original mask maker and getting the mask done by the original mask maker. However, he's no longer making masks. So this mask, the shell, I had done by Michel Doganieri at Protect Sport. If you're familiar with his work, you know who he is. If you're not, he's an absolute legend as well. He's done masks for everyone. He's been making masks for a very, very long time. He's done Patrick Roy, José Theodore, Roberto Luongo, Martin Brodeur, Jean-Sébastien Giguère, Jocelyn Thibault. I mean, the list goes on and on. And he's a custom mask maker as well, so you have to send in your a shape of your head. You have to take a mold of your head, and based on the mold, he will come up with a shell and suggestions on the shell, and he'll make the mask completely custom fit to you. And when I say the mask is custom, like every part of the mask, because he's making it from scratch, he can do custom vents, the padding on the inside, whether you want it finished on the inside. See, this is unfinished. The cage, absolutely everything. The paint, he's not a painter. The paint I had done by Steph Bergeron, that's Griff Air. I'll link, again, Michelle and Steph's websites. So Griff 23, and again, Steph Bergeron, a legendary mask painter. Most notably, Marc-Andre Fleury. He's also done Corey Crawford. He's done Jan Denis, he's done Roberto Luongo, he's done Matt Murray, just countless goaltenders. I can't really name them all or remember them all at this point. But just a great mask painter. And both are really easy to deal with. This specific shell, I mean, if you deal with Michel, getting just the shell made, very, very easy to deal with. He responds very quickly. And the prices are so fair. Like, I mean, it's almost cheaper getting a custom mask made from him than it is going and getting like an off-the-shelf Bauer 960. And it would be customized to your specs. So if you're detail-oriented or you have very specific needs, that's the guy you should be going to. He can do fiberglass, he can do Kevlar. Again, he's making these things, so speak with him and he can do whatever you want. This design specifically, I mean, it's iconic. It's just a simple, timeless, classic design. You're gonna find it at every beer league you go to, every rec league you go to. Variations on this design. This, I mean, was worn by probably my favorite goaltender of all time, Felix Potvin. He wore this. He had a bunch of different designs made by Greg, actually, and this was the final design. I think he had 4 or 5. This was the final design he wore with the Leafs, and he carried the similar design everywhere he went. He would change around maybe that part, he would change around the colors, he would change around certain things, but this design held, and it stood the test of time. It's one of the most duplicated masks you can get. Again, Greg's not making masks, and you should be going to the original painters and mask makers, but I went to a very reputable mask maker, very reputable mask painter, and given Greg's retired, and at this point, he is just happy about the lasting impression he's left on the sport. This mask in general, and again, Greg was a custom mask maker, so he made every part of it was done, like the chin here and the length on it, the profile, how far it went, the cage, how close you're going to sit with the cage was done to specs of the goaltender and how he wanted to wear it, and also their head shape. And this mask in general was so aerodynamic, and it just looked so beautiful, just based on what Felix wanted and based on his head shape. And that's why it's gone down as just one of the most copied and most duplicated and most celebrated masks. There are other sites you can go to get replicas made. None are going to look anywhere close to as good as this, because it's not just the paint. It was also the shell shape. It was everything about it. And unless you can get that profile of that mask done, it's not going to look right. At least it doesn't in my eyes, because I've seen this mask so many times as a kid. Like, I just used to watch it. So it needs to be done correctly. And Michel has this Harrison style mask shell type in his I guess repertoire that he can get you. Again, just a beautiful, timeless, classic design for a goaltender who really helped put the Leafs back on the map in the 90s. The 80s had been a pretty tough time for the Leafs, and Potvin in 92, 93, and 93 and 94, helping them to the conference finals back-to-back. He had some incredible early seasons with the Leafs overall. I think he had 107 goals saved above average across his 8 seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs before moving on to the Islanders, Canucks, Kings, and Bruins, and eventually retiring. A lot of people say journeyman. He definitely wasn't a journeyman. He was absolutely insanely good, particularly in the early 3, 4, 5 seasons of his career. And then he had some good seasons again with the Kings later on. Just a beautiful, beautiful mask. You can't really say enough. One thing about this, again, the whiskers down here, coming out here. It's such a beautiful, beautiful design. One thing about the back, again, if you guys are familiar, right here, this vent was closed on the real mask. It was closed off, and Greg actually put a Felix the cat, painted a logo into there. So I actually have reached out to Michel, and I'm having another backplate made, and I'm gonna have that backplate done correctly with, well, not correctly, but the way I want it, with the set the cat down there, right in there, with the Felix the cat logo put in. But beautiful paint job. I mean, Steph's also really, really easy to deal with. Very fair prices. Legend. Michel has he's handled Felix's Harrison mask, so he knows how the shell looks. So has so has Steph, so he knows the artwork, he knows the paint, and he's a very reputable, competent painter. I mean, he's world-class, legendary painter, so he's going to be able to do this correctly for you. He was able to do it correctly for me. Beautiful, timeless design. On one of the best, if not one of the most iconic designs of all time. And as a Leaf fan, I'm 40 now. I was lucky to see this mask on Felix Potvin, then it was Curtis Joseph, and then it was Ed Belfour. So 3 of the best, I think, mask designs of all time, back to back to back. I love it. This is such a beautiful mask. And I think a lot of people agree. I mean, when you look up any lists about the best mask designs, you're gonna find those three guys up there all the time. It was simple, it was timeless, and this is kind of how the 80s, 90s masks were. A lot of the masks today almost look like digital art or graphic design. Very busy, very detail oriented, which is cool, but I've always appreciated masks that are easily, like you can read them very easy from far. When you get close, they may be more detail oriented, but you want them to be able to be read from afar pretty well. And I feel like with this mask, that is absolutely the case. It's just such a nice, and again, it's not just the paint, it's that shell shape. It's the way every part of this looks. Just beautiful. Do one quick. The LA King mask is also absolutely gorgeous as well. I thought it was really well done. I mean, it is really well done, but as a Leaf fan, this is the mask for me. And it is for a lot of people I know. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will link the painters, builders, and original artist in here. Hope everyone has a good day. Thank you.